Joining me now is North Carolina's Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest. Just take us through what you'd like people, our viewers who are in your state, who may still be in harm's way, what you would like them to do this hour and this evening.
Well, right now, Nicole, it's time to hunker down. If you're out there on the coast, as was already mentioned, you're going to be putting your life probably in danger if you try to get out of there now because of flooded roads and washed out roads, the potential of not seeing what's washed out under a road or down power lines or down trees. You know, we've been hammering this hard for a week. Life safety is absolutely #1. Making sure that you are going to protect yourself, protect your family. Don't think that you can ride out a storm surge. I mean, you may be able to ride out wind and rain, but you can't ride out the storm surge. And most of the deaths that occur in these hurricanes, they really occur in water, in flooding. In North Carolina, the vast majority usually occur when people try to drive through that water. So now's the time to hunker down. And if you're out there on the coast, you're going to have to try to ride this out because the first responders aren't going to be able to get in there to save you.
And what are you most concerned about? We've seen live reports from the coast, a lot of winds whipping up, a lot of flooding. We've been talking to Al about that storm surge combined with high tide. Where are your concerns as you head into the early evening hours and really the beginning of what you're likely to see, a sustained period of water and damage in your state?
Well, you're concerned about all of the above. Obviously, the wind and the rain and the surge all combined. Al was saying on top of high tide is this storm surge. High tide is supposed to be about 5 feet. So if you put the 13 feet on top of 5 feet, boy, that's pretty bad circumstance. You know, there's homes all along this area that were built over 100 years ago that aren't up on stilts. They're not up in the air. There's a lot that are. A lot of new modern homes too, but there's a lot that aren't. And so we're concerned about all that. That's right now. That's over the next day as this storm comes ashore. But then you're concerned about the flooding. This storm's going to linger, as you've heard many times. It's going to take its time. It's going to dump 45 inches of rain along the coast, but then it's going to start to move to the North Carolina mountains. It's going to dump a lot of water in mountains that are already saturated. They're going to fill the streams, and they're going to head back to the coast again. We're going to see a flood event, I believe, that could be unprecedented in North Carolina. We've had some bad ones before. We're going to be riding this one out for several days, and then maybe even into a week for the flooding, and then it's going to take probably years to recover.
And you're talking about for folks who have evacuated, you just said they may be looking at a week of not just the storm, but maybe evaluating the damage. Are you prepared to have people in your shelters for a week?
Well, I think they need to be prepared to be there for longer than a week. You know, we've seen power outages in our state for 3 weeks to a month before, and we could see something like that again, depending on how long it takes for these power crews to be able to get back into these communities because of flooding. So that's going to be one of the big issues. But I visited one of our shelters here in Wake County today in Raleigh. It was our biggest shelter. I wanted to go over and just kind of get a feel for what was going on there. It's full. There's over 300 people in there right now at one of the local high schools, and it is run like a well-oiled machine, and people were getting along quite well. They have health professionals in there. They have all the things that they need to make sure that people are taken care of for the week, including taking care of their pets.
Really important that you mentioned the pets. A lot of people don't evacuate because they don't want to leave their pets behind. I'm glad to hear you mention that. I'm sure that our viewers and your residents are as well. North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Dan Forest, thank you for spending some time with us. Please stay safe. We're thinking of you and all of your constituents.